My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my review of Scream 6. And I had zero excitement for this movie. I love the Scream franchise for the most part. Oh, at least I did. Scream 1 is one of my favorite movies of all time. I just love it. It's got one of the greatest opening scenes ever. It's tense, it's smart, it's funny in moments. It's just a fantastic movie. Scream 2 is also really good. That entire cop car sequence is just top notch. Scream 3 isn't as bad as people say. It's got some fun moments, but it does fall apart in the end. And Scream 4, I just rewatched the other day, and yeah, that movie still walks. I really like it. So, the Wes Craven directed movies, I really enjoy for the most part. Then there was a new movie last year directed by Radio Silence, I believe is the duo's name. And I thought it was really bad. I hated all the commentary it was trying to have. I thought the new characters were bland and boring. I despised what they did to Dewey, and I'm just like, oh man, this just killed my excitement for this franchise. And Scream 6 only did further damage. It's just, is every franchise going to be ran into the ground? It seems like that's going to be the case. It just sucks. Okay, but let's get into it. Beginning with what I did like, and there is two great moments in this movie. There's one scene in a store where Ghostface is chasing Sam and Tara in, and that just had me on the edge of my seat. And there's also another moment regarding a ladder, which I found to be very tense and thrilling. So those two moments were the highlight of this movie for me easily. But that's as positive as I can go. The opening scene, I loved elements of it. We watch this guy who's being Ghostface kill someone. And I'm just like, are they going to make it so we actually know who Ghostface is the entire time? And I was just like, this movie could be brilliant. It shows a unique point of view, and it could be the extra something to freshen this franchise up. But no, it's just the opening scene, and it just makes it feel like wasted potential, because if the movie was that, I would be totally in. But what we get is the exact same stuff we've seen plenty of times by this point, and it just feels stale. You know when you watched the 2019 Lion King movie, where it was live action, and the story and the characters are the same, but it's just lacking any emotion, it's just lacking any soul. That's what watching this movie was like to me. It's familiar, but utterly soulless. And no matter how hard they try, it's just not as fresh or smart or as funny as they think it is. One of my favorite moments in the original four movies was when they talk about the rules. Scream 1, they talk about the rules of a slasher movie. Scream 2, they talk about sequels. Scream 3, they talk about the concluding chapter. And Scream 4 was about remakes. Simple, but effective. But then Scream 5, they get into recall. Well, it's kind of a sequel, kind of a remake. And then this movie, they're taking on the sequel to a recall. And you're just like, yeah, okay, you lost me. No, that's just too much. And then they're like, well, this time we're talking about franchise. And it feels so tacked on. It feels like it's there for the sake of it. And, the one aspect I was really hoping for this movie to use properly was the setting of New York. Because it's such a big city and you could do so much with it, and I just feel like they didn't. You get a couple scenes in apartment buildings, one on a train, and then one in the theater, and that's it. And I'm just like, why not have them get chased through Central Park in the middle of the night? Why not have them go to the Empire State Building and they go up there for sightseeing and it's dark out and they think Ghostface might be up there with them? Or why not have them actually be chased through the subway tunnels, or just stuff like that? Something to really utilize the setting and make it feel like a character, and they don't. This movie could have taken place anywhere and it would have felt the exact same. But another huge issue I just have with this movie is that I like Sydney, I like Gail, I like Dewey. I don't give a shit about these new characters. I have zero attachment to them. Sam and Tara are just as bland and as boring as these characters can come. And like, the movie for the first two acts, actually for the entire movie, but especially the first two acts, it's just boring for the most part. But then you get into the ending, the last act, and it's just absurdly awful. The motives are familiar, and it's just twist upon twist, and you're just like, yeah, this is convoluted nonsense. All I'll say... Shit. There's one thing I really want to say here, but I can't. And all I'll say is that this isn't about the last act, it's just about the movie in general, especially the last 2 minutes of this movie. But... okay, should I say? Okay, I'm just... All I'll say is that not enough people die. And I'll end it there. Yes, there are some people who survive attacks, and you're just thinking, really? You survived that? Okay, that's far-fetched. You're not even acting like you were ever injured. Okay, that's all I'll say. You've got yourself the new cast. So Melissa Barrera, I think, is just so terrible and boring and lifeless in these movies. Jenna Ortega, I really liked her in X. And I haven't seen Wednesday, to be fair, but I think she's so overrated right now. Like, people are making her out to be the next big thing. And there's definitely potential, but she's not good here. She doesn't have enough to do. And then we get to Courtney Cox, who... I guess it's fine, but I just hated the way they handled this character. The conflict between her and the sisters is just the exact same stuff we've seen in this franchise before, and it's just a small thing, but they gave her a new boyfriend, and I really didn't like that. Jasmine Savoy Brown, you can tell they think that this character will be everyone's favorite. I think she just tries too hard, and I don't care for her. Mason Gooding, I like him in Booksmart. He has zero character here. Hayden Panettiere comes back as Colby, and I thought she was really bad here. Like, I like her in Scream 4, but she died. I wish they kept it that way, and yeah, just unneeded. Devin Nikuda adds nothing. Jack Champion, Spider from Avatar Way of Water, is here, and he's not good. Like, maybe I missed a scene early on with him in it, but it kind of just feels like he shows up in a certain scene and he's just part of the group now, which I found odd. Tony Ravioli and Samara Weaving are fine for the bit they're in it, and Dermot Mulroney is So it's not like the cast elevates this movie. So really my only positives is there's some potential you see early on that gets wasted, and there's two great scenes, but it's just diminishing returns. It's nothing new, it's nothing fresh, it's not funny, it's not smart, it's not scary for the most part. It's just a soulless, inferior version of a franchise I once loved. The new characters are boring, the last act is just absurd, and just not enough people die. And they didn't utilize New York enough. So I didn't like this movie at all. I'm going to go ahead and give it a 3 out of 10. I do quickly want to mention the fact they released this movie in 3D. Why? Like, Avatar 2 did it really well, and now is every movie just going to do it again? Like, are we literally going back to 2010? What's going on here? I was at least hoping for some knife coming out of the screen action, and I got none of that. It was the Paramount logo at the beginning, and that's it. I was expecting for a fun 3D experience, and I didn't even get that. But what did you think of Scream 6? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for some more videos soon, and Gavin out.